what we're looking at is Glock 23. This is probably going to be one of the most boring videos that I put on YouTube. Okay, this is probably one of my newer specimens of the Glock 23. It's been checked, it's unloaded, full magazine, round out of the chamber. Gun has about a 4-inch barrel. Up here, your extractor serves as a loaded chamber indicator. I'm left-handed, so I have a hard time getting to it with my thumb if I'm going to check it, so I have to use my offhand. This is a Gen 4 model. I think I've got some other specimens of Gen 4. I may have a Gen 3. Okay, some people would say, well, why would you have multiples of the same gun? Because it's one of my standards. Early models. Back in the 90s, me and a buddy of mine ended up picking up some of the first 40 calibers we could get our hands on. I ended up started with a 4006 Smith, still on the gun. It's had some work done to it. It's had some parts replaced over the years for breakages, and still a great shooter. The only drawback to it is parts are hard to find now. My buddy ended up with a Gen 1 Glock 23. Served as his weapon in law enforcement, served as his personal carry gun, served as his home defense gun. Definitely a favorite. The problem with the early guns is they did not fit my hand well. Maybe I just didn't know how to shoot them. Glocks were new on the market then. Okay. People don't understand that now, but there was a time when you were going to own a semi-automatic. It was either a 1911, a Browning high power. Occasionally you'd get into somebody that liked Beretta, and some of the early Smiths. Glock hits the market and changes a lot of things. Okay, this gun's box stock. Regular sights. I've got the medium back strap on it, which basically makes it a Gen 3 size gun, which fits my hand well. I shoot it well. There are videos on my YouTube page where I'm doing training drills. A lot of those are with a Glock 23. Some of them will be with a Beretta, but a lot of them will be with this gun here, or a same model. It's a mid-size gun. This gun carries a capacity of 13 and 1/14 rounds total. It's small enough that I can conceal it and carry it when I'm in the city, when it has to be concealed, but it's also big enough that I can shoot it adequately when I'm in the woods. So it's one of those guns, I get a lot of mileage out of this platform. A lot of people will naysay the 40 caliber cartridge. Okay, this is a 180 grain Remington Golden Saber. This has been my go-to round for 20 plus years. As far as factory ammunition goes, now yes, I can hand load for it. With the 180 grain bullet, I get a little over 1,000 feet a second out of this package, so I get good terminal ballistics. I can goose it if I hand load 1,100. You know, we're talking less than 100 feet a second difference. Does it make a big difference? No. In my mind, the bullet weight of 180 grains is compared to 115 grain. 9mm bullet is far more desired for what I do with the gun. Okay. I may not need my pistol to protect me exclusively against two-legged predators. I may not need it just for range demonstrations. I may have to take down something that's four-legged, big, hairy, smells bad, and has a bad attitude toward me. You know, bears, hogs. Is this a perfect bear round? No. I would much rather have my 44 Magnum, my 357 Magnum, or my 44 Special. Is it something I can work with? Yeah. Does it beat the 9mm rounds and the light bullets? Yes. Am I giving up much capacity? Well, I've got a total of 14 rounds as opposed to 16 rounds in the 9mm. Given the heavier bullet, the deeper penetration that I'm liable to get, I'd rather have the heavier bullet. So this is a good setup. You know, I've got an example of the Bianchi Pro holster, which is one I carry it in. I've got a Black Hawk that I've used with this one and the full-size version in competition. I've got a Gould & Gulrich Yaki. This gun conceals well in any of those holsters, depending on temperature and time of the year and how you're dressed. So it's something I get, you know, a lot of use out of. Is it the perfect gun? Well, there's a couple things I think it could do better. But does it meet a vast majority of my needs? Yeah, I think it does. Would it be a one-gun option for me? I wouldn't want it to be, because the 40 caliber does not shoot snake shot well. That's the only drawback to it. Incidentally, you know, with the Winchester Silvertip ammunition in 45 and 9mm in ballistics tests and in actual use, most people find that it doesn't have the desired penetration. And it's not a favorite round, but it's one I have shot, I have tested, I've used it in the field. And in the 40 caliber round, the 155 grain version, even though I generally don't like light bullets for caliber, it does give adequate performance, as opposed to its 9mm and 45 ACP counterparts. So some people say, well, the 40 caliber will wear out quicker than the 9. You're not going to put enough rounds through this gun unless you are some kind of competitive shooter that shoots 2,000 or 3,000 rounds a week to wear this gun out. If you do, write it off and go buy another one. Okay? You'll have no problem getting 50 or 100,000 or more rounds through this. Probably several 100,000 rounds before you see any significant wear. So this, you know, is a good setup for me. It meets a lot of my needs. It doesn't meet 100% of it, but I would say, with the exception of being able to cycle snake shot, I would say that's the only drawback to it. Later on